Welcome to the audiobook Dr. Luna by J.M. Snap. Lily Strummer never wanted to find her mate. She had been ostracized by her pack and knew that her mate would likely reject her too. No one would want someone like her. She was different. What else was she to do but study to become a doctor at a young age? Then everything changed one day when she heard the word mate. A secret to bear, and some truths yet to be learned, and a threat that lurks in the darkness. Excerpt. As she climbed into bed, she felt the bed dip down beside her, and she turned with shocked eyes to see Tyler laying down beside her. "What are you doing?" Lily squeaked out from the unexpected invasion. "Trying to sleep," Tyler replied tersely as he closed his eyes. This is my room?" Lily's voice whispered out. Her heart was beating out of her chest, and her stomach was flipping at the sight of him so close. "Nothing gets past you," Tyler smirked, and he opened his eyes to look at her. "I thought we would both enjoy this more." Narrated by Julia Meadows. Chapter 1. "Thanks, Doctor," a young woman muttered as she hurriedly left, carrying her small child, who still had wet tears from the shot. "You're welcome," Lily called back with a soft smile. Both responses were a mere formality for both ladies. She was used to it, though. It was how her pack treated her. Lily sighed as she looked outside at the shining sun. She was finished with her work and was ready to enjoy a run. She packed up her bag with a long men's t-shirt and prepared what she would need for her run.
Excuse me.
Lily walked outside and noticed the few awkward stares she received as some of her pack quickly avoided eye contact with her. It has been this way for as long as she could remember. She reached up and held onto her long necklace that she always wore and let out a breath. This was nothing new to her. Lily had always been the outcast of her pack, which was weird since her father was the alpha of the Silver Moon pack and her brother the future alpha of the pack. There was something more to her, and most of the pack liked to keep their distance, unless they had to see her. Lily Strummer was 21 and was one of the few pack doctors. She remained very secluded from others during school, and at the age of 14 she went ahead and enrolled into college. She was very bright, and with no other distractions, she was dedicated to her studies. Everyone else her age was interested in finding their mate, but Lily never had much interest. In fact, she hoped she never found her mate. She knew he would end up rejecting her anyways, and there was only a few people who accepted her for the way she was. Her father, Ethan, her brother, Aaron, and his beta, Mateus, or Matty as she liked to call him. She was also close with two other wolves from the Ashen pack. They were twin brothers, James and Tristan. They were not identical twins. In fact, they never even looked like brothers. They were completely different from each other. One of them was going to become the future alpha, and the last she heard, Tristan had chosen to bow out and give the position to his brother. Tristan had always had a bad temper, while James was a natural leader. She was sent there to spend the summer when she was 16, and they had become close. They knew about her secret because of their connection to her mother. Her mother had come from their pack, and her father sent her there so she could connect with that side of her. Though she really did not connect with anyone related to her mother, since they had all left. Instead, she spent her time playing referee between Tristan and James, who were always fighting about something. She was their bridge to help the two of them connect. Sadly, she had not spoken with them in the last couple years. She lost her mother when she was around 8 years old, and the tragedy still bothered her to this day. Because of what happened that day, she remained terrified of thunderstorms. Her mother was not Aaron's mother. Her father has had the misfortune of losing 2 mates in his lifetime. A pain that was bad enough to go through once, let alone twice. Some people never come back from the pain of losing a mate. They say the pain is like losing a part of your soul. Her father was a strong man and was able to be grateful for the time he had with them, instead of bitter for the time he did not. Since she had led a life of seclusion, she had become accustomed to it being that way. Do not even get her started on her wolf, Kira. Kira was abnormally large for a female wolf, and unlike most wolves, she was not very social. In fact, she was often jested about going rogue. She was rough and liked a challenge. Honestly, she was even larger than many alpha males, and her presence was very dominant. She was an enormous, all-black wolf with emerald eyes that pierced into the soul. Despite Lily being excluded from her pack, she was a strong-willed young lady, and would readily oppose anyone if the need ever arose. She was self-confident in her appearance and in herself. She never considered herself stunningly beautiful, but she'd heard the guys from school always complain how the hottest girl had to be so scary. She was only 5'4". She was so tiny while her wolf was huge. She had bright, shiny blonde hair, green eyes, a round bubble butt, a tiny waist, and well-developed breasts. She could not complain about how she was put together. She sighed as she walked out into the woods. "Ready to go for a run, Kira?" Lily asked her wolf. Kira was part of her, and they could communicate mentally to each other. The same way members of the same pack could mind-link with one another. "Always," Kira responded. Lily liked to run outside of the Silver Moon Pack territory. It was neutral ground there, and she was less likely to run into any pack members who were terrified of her wolf. When she first shifted, during the coming-of-age ceremony, her pack was horrified. Her brother and father swiftly chastised them, but it was evident in their eyes that they were afraid of her. Lily made her way to the neutral territory and hopped out of her clothes. She quickly shifted into Kira and carried her bag in her mouth. Kira was happy to stretch her legs and ran with incredible speed, far from the Silverpack territory. "We really should just go rogue. Don't you think it'd be nice, Lily? We would never have to worry about being accepted." Kira sounded a bit sad over the last part. Deep down, Lily knew that the reason Kira was antisocial was because she was soured by the rejection of her pack. It made her more guarded. Your pack is supposed to always have your back and support you. It was hurtful the way they reacted to them. "You always have me, Kira," Lily said to our wolf. The smell of blood sifted in the air, and Kira stopped running to get a better whiff. The sound of a child crying was heard in the distance, and she ran up to the edge of the neutral area. The cries were coming from within the Diamond Pack territory. It would seem like a challenge to go in there with Kira, but as a doctor, Lily could not ignore the child's cries. Lily shifted back into herself and grabbed her bag. She only had her necklace on and needed her shirt to quickly get covered up. She found her extra-large men's shirt and swiftly pulled it on, before running towards the sound. She didn't have shoes on, and her tender feet were getting cut up with scrapes from the ground. She saw a child in the distance crying in pain, and she could see blood around his ankle. This child was too young for his wolf to heal him, so she needed to quickly go over and assess the situation. "Hey, sweetie, don't be afraid of me, okay? I just want to help you," Lily said in a soothing tone. The little boy nodded up to her with his big blue teary eyes. Lily looked at his leg and was relieved to see it was not anything serious. "Okay, sweetie, let's see if we can get you patched up." Lily investigated the contents of her bag and grabbed out some of the first aid items she always carried with her. She couldn't help herself, being a doctor. "Can you be very brave? This may sting just a bit." The little boy nodded, and Lily began to wash the wound out. "Lily, there are others here," Kira warned. "Shh, I know. Let me concentrate." Lily barked, shushing Kira. Kira was pacing in her head, incredibly anxious. She seemed to know something, and she wanted out of there. Lily took a thick bandage out and slowly wrapped it around the young kid's leg. "There. Now how does that feel, sweetie?" The kid smiled and reached out to hug Lily. "Thank you." Lily's hand reached out and gently hugged the child. She wanted to cry. This reaction was very new to her. The children in her pack were afraid of her. A tall man walked up, and the boy turned and jumped into his arms. "Daddy, did you see? She helped me." The boy squealed. His father nodded in appreciation, and then walked away with his son, departing from her. Lily felt the presence of others swarm near her. Packs were very territorial, and she wasn't sure how she would be treated in another territory. Lily slowly turned up to face the men that were gathered behind her. The men were clearly eyeing her appearances. The white t-shirt barely covered her butt, and there was a lot of lust-filled eyes staring at her. Lily was comfortable with nudity. It was a thing of life with werewolves, so she thought their reaction was a bit over the top. A bunch of love-starved wolves, she thought with an eye roll. Suddenly, a low growl came from behind the pack of men, and they quickly lowered their eyes and left the area. 2 tall, muscular men stepped forward. She assumed this was the alpha and beta of the Diamond Pack. She heard girls swoon about Tyler Locke and how attractive he was. But she never partook in those conversations. They really didn't matter to her at the time. But it did now. She looked up at this 6'2", amazingly sculpted specimen in front of her. He only had shorts on, and his bare chest and muscles were sculpted and bulging. He looked to be about the same age as her. His hair was black as night, and his eyes were a beautiful gray color. Simply put, he was mouth-wateringly attractive. It was as if his body was blessed by the gods. Her eyes met with his, and she heard the word she never wanted to hear. Mate. Kira was howling in Lily's head and was pacing about wildly. Lily stood there quietly, not knowing what she should say or do. She never expected to find her mate, since most people found theirs around the age of 18. Her brother found his mate and future Luna the day he turned 18. She was happy for him, but his mate, Cadence, only tolerated her for her brother's sake. At least she loved her brother, so she could be happy for him. Besides, she was used to not many people liking her. "What are you doing in our territory?" Tyler growled out, causing Lily to jump a bit. She didn't know what reaction she was expecting, but not this. "Seriously? Don't tell me you're all brawn and no brains. Was the situation not obvious? I was helping an injured child. But I suppose the answer you're looking for is that this lone wolf is here to invade," Lily said with an eye roll as she crossed her arms over her chest, ever so slightly raising up her shirt even higher. Tyler greedily stared at her exposed thigh. From the look at how his eyes were changing colors, he was having a power struggle with his wolf. "I'm Cade, his beta." The other man beside Tyler spoke up. "And this is our alpha, Tyler. Thanks for helping out one of our kids. Who are you? You seemed pretty experienced at cleaning wounds." Cade was a bit taller than Tyler, and his arms were monstrous in size. He had brown hair and brown eyes and a sculpted body. His demeanor was more open and friendly, and it helped Lily relax. "I'm Dr. Lily Strummer, daughter of Ethan Strummer, alpha of the Silver Pack. Yes, I know I appear young for a doctor, but I started college at 14 and just recently graduated from medical school." Lily stood there confidently in front of the alpha and beta. Her heart rate was definitely giving her away, though. She could not help it, but when she looked at him, she could feel herself being drawn towards him. She felt excited, and there was a strong pull towards him, where she just wanted to throw herself into his arms. She couldn't do that, though. If he knew about her, he would definitely reject her. She knew this. No one would ever want her for a mate. Her pack had shown her that this was true, so why would he be any different? "You're Ethan's daughter? Aaron's sister?" Cade asked curiously. "You've met them?" Lily asked curiously. "Yes, we have several times." "You never came along when we had multi-pack meetings and parties?" Cade asked with a frown. He would have remembered seeing a gorgeous girl like her. "I've been too busy for parties. I finally have free time now that I am done with medical school." Lily was telling the truth. She spent all of her time studying and keeping busy. What else did she have to do? "It's very impressive, Lily. You must be a genius," Cade asked excitedly. Lily giggled at him. "Hardly, but I am a serious student." Lily stole another glance toward Tyler, who had remained quietly standing there. "Anyways, if I am free to leave, I was in the middle of a run and wouldn't mind getting back home before it gets dark." Lily looked up at each of them, seeing if there was any objection. She may have just found her mate, but she was going to do them both a favor and ignore it. "Don't you think we should talk?" Tyler chuckled out in amusement towards her. No girl had ever given him the brush off, and she was his mate. Lily raised an eye at him and watched as he took a step towards her. He reached out and touched her cheek, making light sparks ignite over her body. She took a small step away from his touch and stared up into his gray eyes. "Don't you want to talk with your mate?" Tyler's voice was soft, and he stared at her longingly. Look, you don't want me for a mate, and I do not want a mate, so I'm just gonna go." Lily said, all but sprinting away. The electricity she felt from him startled her. The strong desire to be with him was overwhelming her, and she needed to get away from the danger quick. Tyler and Cade watched the girl disappear through the wood line. "Uh-oh, you scared her off. Now what?" Cade said with a smirk, seeing his alpha looking after her with a conflicted look. "She's mine. I'll be going to get what's mine," Tyler said with a smile. The girl was beautiful, and her green eyes were mesmerizing. Her scent was intoxicating, and he wanted to take her and mark her as his own, as he had finally found his mate, his Luna. He was not about to lose her, though there were a few plans that would need to be altered. Chapter 2. Lily walked up to her house. House was putting it mildly. It was a mansion. She walked in wearing just her long shirt and stretched her arms up over walking in the door, revealing her bottom slightly. "Damn, Lil, you do realize that I'm an unmated male?" Maddie sighed out as he stared at her from across the room. Usually mated males were tamer because of the mate drive. Other women were of little interest to them. "Hey, Maddie, I didn't realize you were going to be here. You and Aaron gaming tonight?" Lily said, walking up to him. "That's the plan, as soon as he can ditch Cadence," Maddie said in irritation. Lily giggled. Maddie wasn't thrilled about his future Luna either, but it didn't matter since she would soon be his Luna. "I'm going to go get cleaned up and be back down." Lily headed up the stairs and down the long hall towards her room. She took a relaxing hot shower and stood under the welcomed hot pellets of water. She had found her mate. The feeling was more intense than she ever imagined it to be. She somehow managed to run away. It was for the best. She was doing them both a favor. But her heart was pranging in protest. How did she already miss someone she barely knew? Maybe she should have taken a cold shower. She dried herself off and slipped on a pair of booty shorts and a pink tank top before heading back downstairs. She walked into the kitchen and grabbed a banana before hopping into the game room, where she knew Aaron and Maddie would be. When she walked in, she saw Cadence still there, and she gave her a small acknowledgement before heading over to sit next to Maddie. She snuggled in beside him and dipped her cold toes underneath him to warm them up. Maddie was family to her, and she was very close with him. He was the only person outside of her family that she was close with. Well, with their pack anyways. "Geez, Lil, your feet are like ice." Maddie furrowed his brows over at her. "Just concentrate on your game and do your job as my feet warmer." Lily stuck her tongue out at him. "I'm going to go and chat with the girls for a bit. I'll be on the porch," Cadence said as she stood up and waltzed out of the room. Aaron came over and plopped beside Lily. "How are you doing, Lilybug?" Aaron asked. "Keeping out of trouble?" Lily shifted a bit uncomfortably at that last question. "For the most part," Lily said honestly. "Except you crossed into another pack's border and found your mate," Kira reminded her. "Shut up, Kira," Lily spat out in her head. It appears that Lil is hiding something, huh, Aaron?" Maddie said, looking over at the girl sitting beside him. "I guess we'll have to interrogate the criminal," Aaron said as he began to tickle Lily mercilessly. Lily squealed with laughter and tried to escape. Aaron and her had a very close relationship, since both had lost their mothers and could relate to one another on that level. He looked out for her, and he had always been extremely protective over her. She was happy she had him as a brother. He sat with her through every storm and held her hand to help her get through them. He was more than a brother. He was also her best friend. "Aaron, Mattias, let's go. We have company," Ethan's voice commanded with the voice of his alpha. Lily turned to see her father and his beta Mark motioning for the two boys to join them. "Dad, it's game night," Aaron pouted, releasing Lily from tickle jail. "Aaron, not now." Ethan's voice was tense, and Aaron suddenly understood that this was a serious situation. "What's wrong? Who's coming?" Aaron asked by his father's side. "The alpha of the Diamond Pack. I just received a call that he would be here in just a few minutes to discuss an important matter." Ethan looked at his son with mild concern. The Diamond Pack was a powerful pack and one of the largest around. The pack was filled with some of the fiercest warriors, and they were always training. It was like an army. A visit from their alpha only meant It was a big deal. I wonder what he wants, Aaron whispered out quietly in annoyance. Aaron had met the guy before a few times. He was always arrogant and draped in women who were fawning all over him. He did not have a good impression of him. Lily's heart was racing. She was trying to think of why he would be coming there. Was he going to start a fight because she crossed borders? Or did he want to formally reject her? She followed up behind Maddie and scooted up behind his back, peeking around his shoulder. Since when have you become the skittish one? Don't be worried, Lil. I'm here. Maddie turned around and smiled down to Lily. He felt protective over her and seeing how uncomfortable she was looking. Suddenly, a loud, commanding knock from the door was heard. Lily's father and Aaron stood side by side, while Maddie stood to the side, but behind Aaron. Lily walked up to Aaron and reached up and grabbed the back of his shirt anxiously. Aaron shot her a confused glance. She was never the one to be intimidated, but here she was, nervous, anxious, and also excited to see him again. Kira began to jump around, and she knew who was behind the door. She could not wait to feast her eyes on Tyler's beautiful, sculpted... She shook her head, trying to rid herself of her impure thoughts. This was serious. Mark walked up to the door and opened it. Cade strode in, and immediately Tyler followed suit. The two men looked forward at Lily's father and brother, and then their eyes fell on Lily and rested there. Tyler's gaze was fixated on her for a moment, before he redirected it to Ethan, and walked up to him, extending his hand. "Tyler, what do we owe the honor of your presence?" Ethan asked to the point. He was never one to beat around the bush. "It's actually very simple, Ethan. I'm here to take what's mine," Tyler said with a commanding tone. Ethan looked at him, shocked. "What do we have here that is yours?" Tyler put a smirk on his lips and looked over at Lily. He reached his hand up and pointed directly at her. "She's mine." Aaron growled at him and took a step towards him, while Maddie pulled Lily behind him. Now, let's take a moment and talk this over. Let's let cooler heads prevail. Maddie, stay with Lily. The rest of us will go and talk in the conference room," Ethan said calmly as he sat his hand on Aaron's shoulder. "If you don't mind, I'll leave my beta behind to look after her as well, since she is mine." Tyler gave Kate a look, and he nodded back in response. Aaron growled again at this, but Ethan squeezed his hand on his son to calm him down. "Mark, you can stay here as well. This will just be an alpha meeting," Ethan said as the three men walked out. Aaron would be taking over as alpha very soon, but he wanted to wait until he was finished with college. Lily watched until they were gone and then let out a sigh. Maddie wrapped his arms around her. "Are you okay, Lil?" Cade lowered his eyes and growled at him. "I'd appreciate it if you kept your hands off of my future Luna." "You're Tyler's mate? I mean, that's great. He'll be great for the pack, too." Mark spoke in mild excitement. He knew that with Lily gone, the pack would feel much better. "Thanks, Mark. Tell me how you really feel." Lily's voice dripped icily. Maddie and Cade shot him deathly glares. "I told him he didn't want me for a mate. I'm not exactly mate material," Lily said sadly. "I would have been more than proud if the moon goddess gave me you as my mate. I used to pray to her for you, but alas, she blessed someone else." Maddie looked down at her wistfully. "You mean cursed," Lily said with a soured sigh, but felt moved hearing what Maddie said, even if it was just to make her feel better. Maddie reached down and cupped Lily's cheeks, causing Cade to growl again, but Maddie ignored him. "You are the best person I have ever known. Don't ever call yourself a curse." Lily smiled up at him weakly. She then turned to Cade. "Is he pretty set on this? It's not a good idea." Cade smiled at her warmly. "I don't think a war could even talk him out of this," Cade said with a wink. "How do you feel about this mess, Kira?" Lily asked her wolf. "You know how I feel about being in a pack. I don't know if I will be able to submit to his wolf. At best, I can stand on par with him," Kira said wryly. "He's your mate too," Lily reminded her. "Most wolves don't like me, so I guess I don't know what to expect. If I am bigger than his wolf, it may not go over well," Kira said sadly. "Don't worry, Kira. I'm here," Lily comforted her. "Lily, they're asking for you." Maddie looked down at her sadly. Lily looked up and squeezed her tiny fists together. She slowly walked to the conference room and knocked. "Come in," her father's voice answered. Lily walked in and glanced up to see the resting smirk on Tyler's face and Aaron's scowling face looking down at the table. She walked over and sat between Aaron and her father and looked up to meet her father's eyes. "Lily, this man claims that you are his mate. Is that true?" Ethan's voice was calm and quiet. "Daddy, I told him he didn't want me for a mate." She looked over at Tyler. "I really won't be a good mate to have. There are things about me that if you know you wouldn't want. My own pack doesn't want me." "Lily!" Aaron yelled angrily. "It's true. You know it's true. They won't even make eye contact with me. Everyone is afraid of me and Kira." Lily was interrupted. "Who is Kira?" Tyler asked, intrigued by the conversation. "She's my wolf. Kira is big, too big. She can stand on par with any alpha. My pack is terrified of her. Please, you won't want me. You should just reject me for the good of your pack." Lily had wet tears in her eyes as she stared at Tyler. "I'm not afraid of you, Lil. I want you in the pack," Aaron said, looking quietly up at his hurting sister as she smiled at him. "Nice try, but I'm still taking you. From now on, you belong to me," Tyler said, looking at her with an air of possessiveness. Aaron pounded the table in front of him. "This isn't right. I don't like this guy. Lily deserves better." "Lily, the decision is yours. Tyler has made it quite clear that if you don't come with him willingly, he fully plans to take you by force." Ethan looked over at his daughter sadly. He wanted to keep her safe and protected, but he was her mate. It was something he couldn't get in the way of. The pack wouldn't stand a chance against the Diamond Pack. It was as simple as that. He also knew that his pack would not want to fight on behalf of Lily. She looked at Tyler and then shook her head. "Fine, I'll go with you, but I want you to remember you asked for this. You were going to ask me to leave, and I want you to remember that you are the one who forced me to come." Lily stood up angrily. She did not want to leave, but she knew that her pack would never fight on her behalf. Aaron growled loudly. "She doesn't want to go. I don't trust this guy to take care of her and protect her. I have always taken care of her. She needs to be where I can keep her safe. I will fight to keep her." Aaron looked over at Tyler threateningly, but Tyler kept the arrogant smirk resting on his face. He seemed amused by her brother and was not intimidated at all. "Aaron," Lily placed her hand on Aaron softly and gave him a small smile. "I'll be okay. You can't spend your whole life protecting me, and I do not want you to. Eventually I would have left here anyways. Kira and I have never been wanted, and we know this. Promise to stay in touch." Lily wrapped her arms around Aaron before she walked out of the room to pack her bags. Aaron furrowed his eyebrows down and looked over at Tyler. He had to let his beloved sister leave with this man-whore. He better take care of her. "Promise me that you'll take care of her." Aaron's voice then quieted. "Please take care of her. She's important to me." Tyler looked over at Aaron and his eyes softened. "You have my word. One more thing. Please don't leave her alone during a thunderstorm. The night her mother was killed was during a thunderstorm, and she still doesn't handle them well. I've been there by her side through every storm." Aaron spoke sadly, looking at the man who would be taking his sister away. Tyler felt a warmth towards Aaron for how he treated his sister. It was clear that she was very precious to him. "I know him from a tough pack, but I promise you, she will be treated like the princess she is." Chapter 3. Lily walked down the stairs holding a few bags of luggage in her hands. Kate immediately walked over and took all of them from her, heading back outside. Cadence walked in from her phone call and was shocked about what was going on. She saw the gorgeous Alpha from the Diamond Pack, and she was tempted to sneak taking a picture of him. Lily walked over and gave Maddie a hug bye. "Stay in touch?" "Always," Maddie said sadly. She walked up and gave her father a hug goodbye. "Take care of yourself, Daddy. If you ever need anything, you call me," Ethan said as he watched his daughter nod up to him. Lily then went and wrapped her arms tightly around Aaron. "I'm going to worry about you every day. Aaron felt depressed seeing his baby sister ready to leave. "Don't worry about me, Aaron. Be the wonderful leader that I know you are," Lily whispered up to him as he kissed her on her forehead. Cadence walked up to Aaron. "What's going on?" she asked sweetly to Aaron. "Lily is leaving with her new mate." Aaron frowned, looking at Lily in front of him. You mean she found a mate and he actually wants her?" Cadence accidentally slipped out, causing Aaron to growl at her. Tyler looked at Cadence with a dark glare. He didn't like this girl who was disrespecting his Luna. He walked up and pulled Lily into his arms, causing her cheeks to heat up from the close proximity. "I don't appreciate the way you speak about my mate," Tyler said as he gazed down at the blushing girl in his arms. "You're Lily's mate?" Cadence was shocked. Her friends are going to go to bed crying when they hear that Tyler now has a mate, and not just with anyone, but with Lily. "You know that Lily is different, right?" Aaron snuffed out air angrily and made Cadence hunker back from his reaction. "So I've been told." Tyler didn't care what was different about her, and she was his. And she was more perfect than he could have ever imagined. Tyler lowered one arm, but left a protective limb around Lily. He nodded towards Aaron and escorted her out of her home. Tyler opened the car door and helped Lily inside. He then walked around to the other side and sat in the back seat next to her, while Cade drove them back to the diamond pack. "Did you mean all of that before, about your own pack not wanting you?" Tyler asked curiously. "Yes, just ask any of them. I only have Maddie, my brother, and my father in my pack." Lily looked out the window and watched as they drove away from her home. She did not really care about leaving this place. It was not dear to her heart, but leaving Aaron was a deep wound. She always had him around to comfort her. She felt suddenly very alone. "That Maddie is in love with you," Cade said from the front, causing a low growl to escape from Tyler's throat. "I don't know about that, but if he is, he won't be once he finds his mate," Lily said with a soft smile. "That is the way it was. No matter how strong your feelings were for someone, once you met your mate, that was it. Your connection with them was all but gone. All you could think about was your mate, and they were the only one who could fill your heart. They were the only one who could make you whole." "Isn't that the truth?" Cade snickered out. "Enough," Tyler snapped, quieting Cade. This reaction was surprising, but she didn't take the time to analyze it. She was going to a new place and was nervous about what to expect. "I'd like to meet your wolf soon," Tyler spoke casually as he turned to look at her. Lily turned and met his gaze. I don't know. I'm afraid she might try to attack your wolf." Lily looked down, biting her bottom lip. "My wolf is her mate. She wouldn't attack him." Tyler smiled at Lily, who only shrugged. "The rejection from our pack hurt her. She says she wants to be rogue, but she just doesn't want to get hurt again. We like to keep our distance," Lily answered and looked back up to meet Tyler's gray, hypnotizing eyes. She could feel the mate bond pulling her to him. The more they are together, the stronger the pull would become. Already her thoughts were being filled with him, and her heart as well. She leaned her head back, feeling tired, and soon dozed off, soothed by the sound of the hum of the vehicle's engine. Tyler felt her head slide into his lap, and he sat there frozen for a moment. He reached out and gently stroked her hair from the sides of her face. She was beautiful. He was enraged when he heard how her own pack didn't want her. He wasn't sure why, maybe their loyalties to their previous Luna? All he knew was that he couldn't get her out of his heart the moment he touched her. He wanted nothing more than to mark her as his and to complete the mating bond. He would wait for as long as he could, hoping she would soon be ready. She was perfect. Everything about her was perfect. She was more than he could ever have asked for. And to think he gave up looking for his mate and was about to marry someone else. Cade was right. The moment he met Lily, everything he thought he felt for Jessica disappeared. He knew he had to have Lily, and he would kill to have her. Tyler leaned down and kissed her temple. His Luna. "Lily, we are here," Tyler said as he gently played with her golden strands. Lily opened her eyes and realized her head was laying on someone's legs. She quickly sat up and turned her head to look over at Tyler. "I'm sorry. I guess I was really tired." She bit her bottom lip as she looked at him uncertainly. "You can fall asleep on me anytime." Tyler chuckled as he opened the door, hopping out of the vehicle. Lily peered out of the car window. They were pulled up to a beautiful mansion that made her father's look like a house. There were flowers planted all along the front and a white fenced-in porch wrapped around the entire length. The entrance had these two lovely oak solid doors. It was breathtaking. The car door opened, and Tyler pulled her out by her waist and slid her next to his body. The warmth of his touch sent little bolts of lightning through her body. The closeness allowed her to fully take in his soothing scent. It seemed it was made just for her. She wanted nothing more than to wrap her arms around his neck and place her lips on... No, get your mind out of the gutter, Lily scolded herself. She noticed Tyler was watching her, and a blush crept upon her face from getting caught eye-groping him. He lowered his head to hers and placed a warm, gentle kiss on her cheek. "Welcome home, beautiful. You made me wait a long time for you." Lily blushed and looked down. She was not used to all this attention, especially the intimate ones. She had never been kissed before intimately, and the feelings she was feeling were all new to her. Cade grabbed Lily's bags and headed towards the house as Tyler wrapped a possessive arm around Lily's waist and escorted her inside. Once entering her new home, Lily looked at it in awe. The first half of the floor was open concept. There was a large kitchen to the left with a bar to eat at, and then to the right was a big theater area. In front of her was a large, wide staircase. The entryway allowed for you to look straight up to the third-floor ceiling. From each floor you could peer down and see the entry-level floor. It was very elaborate and overwhelming. "I'll show you to your room, and then I can have you shown around," Tyler said as he led her up the stairs. He led her down a long hall and then stopped at a room on the second floor. "This is your room here." He pushed open the door as Cade was walking out. "All the bags are here." Cade smiled at Lily and then left them in the room. "Your room has its own bathroom suite, too," Tyler said as he motioned to the door to the left side. Lily looked at the big king-size bed that had a hanging canopy over top of it. There was a TV on the wall and two big windows to the outside. "This is your room for now. Eventually, you will be moving into my room. It is right beside this room if you ever need me for anything," Tyler said with a flirtatious wink. "I'm going to have Cade show you around, and then... You hungry?" Lily nodded up to him. She had not eaten dinner yet. Tyler looked down at her for a moment, like he wanted to say something more. He sighed and rested his arm around her, leading her back out of the room. He could take his time with her, for now. "Cade," Tyler barked. "I'm right here," Cade yelled from below them. "Show Lily around. I'm going to address the pack and let them know that their Luna is here." Tyler brought Lily down to the first floor where Cade was. He then leaned down and kissed her cheek before quickly walking out of the large double doors. Lily's face lit up red. She wasn't expecting Tyler to kiss her on the cheek again. He had been keeping an intimate touch on her at almost all times. She liked it, but was afraid of it. She was afraid of how bad she would feel if he chose to reject her. She wanted him, and wanted him to mark her as his own. But it wouldn't be fair to trap him with the likes of her. "Luna, come on, I'll show you to your home," Cade said, holding out his arm for her to take. Lily nodded with a small smile and took his arm. Cade walked her around, showing her the house. He explained that the beta and the third also lived in the house, along with their mates or future mates. He finally made his way back down the stairs and towards the kitchen. Chapter 4. "This is the most important room of the house, because I love food," Cade said with a grin. "I'm actually pretty hungry. You guys came and stole me away before I could eat my dinner." Lily looked at him with an accusing eye. "So, you're the future Luna," a poisonous voice sounded from the doorway, walking over to them. It was a girl with light brown hair and dark blue eyes. She came up and stood, looking Lily over. She was a few inches taller than Lily, but wasn't as developed in the top, and didn't have a butt at all. She did have a very pretty face, though. "Jessica," Cade said in a low warning. "What? I just wanted to meet the Alpha's mate. I think I deserve that." Jessica spat at Cade. "You see, I was engaged to Tyler, and we were supposed to get married next week. Up until a few hours ago when he met you. Then he dropped me like yesterday's news." Jessica's voice dripped venom. "I'll tear her apart," Kira growled at the vicious tone of the girl in front of them. "Easy, Kira." Lily tried to calm her wolf down. "I'm very sorry to hear that, Jessica. I'm sure he hated hurting you." Lily tried to be nice and comforting in her tone. "You don't look like a leader. I don't know how someone like you can be our Luna." Jessica huffed out, looking at the girl with distaste. "Do not take my kindness for weakness, or you will find out the difference in our abilities very quickly." Lily narrowed her eyes at Jessica. She wasn't a pushover, and wasn't going to be looked down on by her. Cade stepped in front of Lily and then looked down at Jessica. "This isn't your home. I suggest you leave on your own so I don't have to throw you out." "You were never this protective over me, Cade." Jessica looked up at him with hurt. "I never liked you, Jessica. I hate the way you treat others. And when you thought you were going to be Luna, you purposely used your power to get your way." Cade pointed towards the door. "Get out." Jessica sulked and walked back toward the door just as Tyler walked in. She immediately dove into Tyler's arms and began sobbing. "They were both so mean to me. I just wanted to meet her." "Wow, one of those girls," Lily whispered up at Cade. "Yep," Cade said tersely. Tyler rubbed Jessica's hair gently. He felt bad for her because just hours ago she found out they were no longer getting married. She was extremely upset and begged him to reconsider. "Cade, you know better. And Lily, I expected more out of you." Tyler spoke darkly to the two people in front of him. Lily looked up at Cade and scoffed. Kira was livid and was fighting Lily for dominance. "Kira, stop. You're hurting me," Lily said as she took her hand to her head. "You okay?" Cade asked, looking at her with concern. Lily chuckled. "My wolf is a loose cannon. She's just fighting for control. Don't worry, I won't let the psycho out. I think I'm going to go get a shower," Lily said as she spun around, not sparing Tyler a second glance. "I thought you were hungry," Cade called out to her. "Not anymore," Lily said as she waltzed up the stairs. She was angry, but she was also still trying to fight for dominance over Kira. Kira was trying to force her way out, and if she managed, there would be bloodshed. Lily went to her room and shut the door. She couldn't believe the situation just now. He didn't even ask her what happened. He just immediately took Jessica's side. She walked into her bathroom and decided to try out the oversized tub. She turned on the water, filled the tub up with bubbles, and slid into its warmth. "Kira, you need to quit fighting me. You're going to hurt me. Ultimately, I am the one in charge here, and you are being disrespectful." Lily scolded Kira, who whimpered sadly in response. Kira and Lily were partners, but the human was the one in charge during both wolf and human form, unless the human allows their wolf to take over consciousness. Kira, being the rebel she was, would often fight for control over Lily. This caused Lily great pain and took a lot of effort for her to stay in control. There was a reason why Lily did not have divine control over Kira. It was also the reason why Lily and Kira could not quickly heal themselves if they were wounded. As she soaked in the tub, she stewed over Tyler. He expected more out of me? He doesn't even know me to know what to expect. He should be thankful Kira didn't bite her head off. I was actually quite proud of myself for staying in control. The situation was sticky, and she knew Jessica had to be sour over it. She sighed, knowing that this problem was far from being over. There were probably mixed loyalties in the pack, since Jessica was almost their Luna. She sat there and wondered about Tyler's feelings. He had to still have feelings for Jessica. He almost married her. She did not know why, but she suddenly felt hurt thinking he had feelings for another girl. She stayed in the tub deep in thought, long enough for her skin to get all wrinkly before she finally pulled herself out. She looked around and realized she forgot to grab a towel. With a groan, she walked out of the bathroom and into her room to see Tyler sitting on the bed. He stared at her with dark, lustful eyes, not bothering to look away. Lily didn't bat an eye at the scene. She walked over to the cabinet and pulled out a towel. He had invaded her room. She had nothing to be embarrassed about, though the red flush still crept up on her cheeks. She began to pat herself dry, and she looked up at Tyler. "What do you want?" Her voice was icy, and it was enough to snap Tyler away from his lustful thoughts. "I wanted to talk to you." Tyler kept his eyes on the body in front of him, his eye color rapidly changing back and forth as he battled with his animal side. "Look, I'm tired. You dragged me away from the only people who have ever cared about me and to this strange place. I don't know anyone. And then you tell me you expected better out of me when you don't even know what happened in the first place. Do I want to talk to you? No. I just want to be left alone. That's the way it works for me. So please, just leave." Lily walked up to her bag and pulled out a big men's t-shirt. It was a shirt that she stole from Maddie a while ago, but she kept it, bringing it with her now, hoping a scent would calm her. Tyler instantly was at Lily's side and pulled the shirt from her. His eyes were dark and stormy, and he gritted his teeth as he spoke. "You aren't going to wear the scent of another male." It was as offensive as a man having the perfume of another woman on him. He was so attentive with Jessica downstairs, and now he was being completely inconsiderate with her and her feelings. How does he think she feels being in a strange place? "I thought it would help me sleep," Lily said defiantly. Tyler pulled his shirt off his head and pulled it down over Lily. "My shirt will help you sleep too." As he pulled the shirt down, he allowed his fingers to touch against her delicate skin. Lily stared at the perfection in front of her, trying to ignore the flames he just ignited by touching her bare skin. She was trying to control herself, trying not to reach out and touch his chest. The scent of him near her and on her was filling her thoughts of only him. There was a small anticipation growing between the two of them, with the intimate setting of the situation. "Hey, Lily, I brought you a sandwich." Chapter 5. Cade stood at the open door staring at the situation in front of him. Tyler was standing in front of Lily, who was now wearing Tyler's shirt, and only his shirt, while Tyler stood in front of her with only his shorts on. Tyler growled at him in agitation, making Cade look up to the ceiling. Lily was thankful for his interruption just then, and she quickly escaped a few feet from Tyler. "What kind of sandwich?" Lily walked up to Cade, eyeing the plate in front of him. She felt famished, and the warm smell of melted cheese hit her nose. Cade continued to look at the ceiling, but smiled as he answered her. "It is my famous grilled cheese and ham sandwich. No one can resist it." "That sounds great. I'll come downstairs and eat it. Just give me a minute to get shorts on." Lily thought that the sandwich sounded delicious and could not wait to dive into it. Cade walked out of the room, and Lily turned to Tyler as she stood by the door. She raised an eyebrow at him, which was telling him to get out. Tyler was irritated over the whole situation. Cade had interrupted a good moment between them. He had the feeling that another second longer and the mate pole would have had them in each other's arms. He was also irritated since he knew she was still upset with him over the Jessica incident. He reluctantly walked past her and out of the room. Lily shut the door and let out the breath she'd been holding. That was too close. She was about to pounce on this man she barely knew. Everything about him was perfect, and her animalistic side wanted to devour every inch of him. She needed to pull herself together. Thank goodness for Cade. Lily grabbed and put on a pair of underwear and her shorts. Tyler's shirt was so long that it covered her shorts, so it still looked as if she only had a shirt on. She thought about changing the shirt, but wearing his warm shirt was like being in his constant embrace. It was something she was craving, so she decided to indulge herself in his shirt and scent. Then another scent hit her nose. She could smell a hint of the perfume that Jessica had been wearing on the shirt from when she had run into his arms. Lily could feel the anger build up inside of her. She did not understand what was wrong with her. No one usually bothered her this much. It was like her emotions were out of control, and Kira was ready to pounce at this vulnerability. Lily flung the shirt off of her and stared at it like it had bitten her. She hated how she was reacting lately, but knew that it was because of the mating bond. She grabbed one of her own shirts and tossed it on, and grabbed Tyler's shirt off the ground before leaving the room. Lily bounded down the stairs and marched up to the kitchen bar where Tyler and Cade were seated. Lily tossed the shirt at Tyler and then took her seat beside Cade, away from Tyler. A low rumble was heard in Tyler's chest as he stared at his mate sitting happily next to Cade. He held up his shirt and looked over at her. "What is this about?" "I can't wear that. It has another woman's perfume on it." Lily did not look up from her sandwich and continued to enjoy it greedily. Inward she was fuming, but she was trying to reel her emotions in, or at least cover them. "I'll get you another shirt then." Tyler shrugged it off like it was nothing. Lily could feel her little control begin to snap. "Do not worry about it. I brought my own shirts that smell like home." "This is your home," Tyler barked back. Cade sat in between the two, and his wolf was hunkering, being between his snarling Alpha and Luna. "That is not 100% decided yet," Lily said tersely as she took in the last bite of her sandwich. "It has been decided. You belong to me, and nothing will ever change that," Tyler said smugly. Kira let out a growl through Lily, causing Tyler to laugh in response. "We need to get your wolf under the control of her new Alpha. She will tame down some then." Lily's hands were white as she braced the bar in front of her. She was struggling to calm Kira down. "Kira, calm down. I think you will feel different once you meet his wolf." Lily was trying to reason with Kira. "I know you are used to not being accepted. I'm not either. Try to control your anger so we can see everything clearly." "Fine. If his wolf reacts badly to me, though, I make no promises. I do not want to live where I am not accepted." Kira finally admitted what was bothering her, and Lily felt everything calm down. "Lily, are you okay?" Lily felt an arm spin her around, and before she knew it, she was being held captive in Tyler's arms. Lily blinked, realizing that she had to retreat deep in her mind to get control of Kira. She could feel a liquid dripping from her nose. "Is your wolf doing this?" Tyler's voice was calm as he reached up and wiped the blood from her nose. His gray eyes looked over Lily with concern. "Yes and no. It is complicated." Lily bit her bottom lip. This was all tied to her secret, one she had to let him in on before he could decide if he really wanted her as his mate or not. "I will explain it to you sometime. There's a lot for you to consider before you decide that you really want me for your mate." "I've already decided." Tyler had already decided, if he even had a decision in it. She was his mate, and he could not think of any reason he would not want her by his side. "Perhaps," Lily said quietly. She became aware of his close proximity to her and could feel the heat off of his body. She needed to escape this dangerous situation. "Thanks for the sandwich, Cade. It was delicious." Lily stood up and backed out of Tyler's arms, causing him to frown. "It has been a long day. If you don't mind, I would like to get some rest." Lily did not wait for a response as she turned and went back to her room. "What do you think that is about? I've never heard of someone having to battle their wolf that hard." Tyler looked at Cade. Cade said as he stayed deep in thought. He already noticed something, but was keeping that to himself for now. "What is it, Cade? You suspect something, don't you?" Tyler raised his eyes as he looked over at Cade. He knew him well. Cade was 5 years old when he came into the pack. The two boys became best friends and were inseparable ever since. Cade smiled over at Tyler as he took a sip of his drink. "Just a suspicion for now. You don't plan on elaborating, do you?" Tyler shook his head with a frown as he leaned against the bar. Cade was incredibly loyal to Tyler, but already he was forming his own loyalties with the future Luna. Whatever he was suspecting, he was keeping the secret for her sake. Tyler watched as Cade nodded to him with an apologetic smile. He did not push it anymore. If it were something he needed to know then, Cade would tell him. For now, he would let Lily keep her secret. Lily plopped onto her bed. She did not know why she did not just go ahead and tell Tyler about her. "You know exactly why you are not telling him," Kira reminded her. Lily let out a dry scoff as she rolled to her side. Kira was right. She did know why. She wanted to know how it felt to be accepted, even if it was just temporarily. She had craved the acceptance from her pack and never got it. No matter what she did, it was never enough. She could never prove herself to them. For once, even if it was just for a little bit, she wanted to know how it felt to be part of a pack. Chapter 6. Lily tossed and turned for several hours. She knew she was going to have a hard time sleeping tonight. Lily groaned and sat up. She wanted to clear her head with a run, but that was not an option right now. She was still new to the territory and had not been integrated into the pack. She could be mistaken as a rogue, and that would not be good. Instead, she decided to settle on getting something warm to drink, like an herbal tea. She left her room and headed towards the kitchen. She looked over the railing and could see the kitchen light on and Cade in there. He was moving his arm in a rolling motion, and it appeared that he was trying to work out a pain. Lily headed down the stairs and observed him quietly. "You unable to sleep?" Cade spoke, sensing her presence. He did not have to look up to know it was her or that she was there. He stopped rolling his arm and looked up to her as she approached. She smiled and she walked up to him curiously. "I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep, but your grouchy alpha stole my comfort shirt and instead insisted I wear his shirt, which, of course, can't happen since it had another she-wolf's perfume on it. Is your shoulder hurting?" "It's a pain that has bothered me for a couple years. It's annoying, but I've learned to live with it." Cade shrugged. Lily walked up to him and reached her hand down to his shoulder. She giggled as she noticed his uncomfortable reaction. "Down, boy. I am a doctor, remember? Why don't you let me examine your shoulder?" "Now?" Cade looked up at the clock that was showing 3 in the morning. "Why not? I'm awake and you're awake." Lily shrugged. "Why not now?" Cade shifted a bit uncomfortably, and Lily sighed in annoyance. "For goodness sake, Cade, take your shirt off and lay on the table." Lily finally barked at him. "Take my shirt off?" Cade turned and looked at her. "Do you think I'm going to take advantage over you or something? Yes, take your shirt off." Lily was amused at his odd behavior, then something crossed her mind. "You do have pack doctors here, right?" "Not really. We have a few nurses and midwives, but we're werewolves. We do not really need doctors. And if anyone does need a doctor, it isn't that far to the nearest hospital." Cade took his shirt off and laid it on the table. Lily shook her head in irritation at this knowledge. She gently took her hands and began to examine Cade's shoulder and arm. She could feel exactly what was going on. This is why they should have had a pack doctor.
Excuse me.
"You have a bad injury a few years ago and used accelerating healing?" Lily asked, already knowing the answer. "Yeah, actually, all the time." Cade chuckled at her nonsensical question. "Ah!" Lily rubbed her forehead in annoyance. "You healed your bones weird. They fused where they shouldn't have because you forced the healing process. This is why you should have pack doctors." Just then, someone walked down the stairs. Lily turned and looked up at the man. He was another big man who looked half dead to the world. "Caleb, meet the new Luna, Lily." "Lily, this is Caleb. He was out on patrol all day. He's the 3rd in charge around here." Cade introduced the two. "Perfect. You'll do. Caleb, I can use your assistance." Lily's eyes sparkled, seeing the extra pair of hands she now had at her disposal. "Uh-oh, what are you going to do to me?" Cade asked nervously. "I can fix your arm and make the pain go away, but I must break it and reset it first. You must refrain from healing until I tell you to. It's going to hurt. I will not lie, it is going to really hurt. I could use Caleb's strength to help hold you down." Caleb's eyes lit up hearing this, and he became an all too eager volunteer. "Can I break his bone?" Caleb asked excitedly. Cade growled at his excitement, while Lily giggled at his enthusiasm. "No, this needs to be done carefully. You seem awfully eager to cause him pain." "A free hit on the beta? Yeah, you could say that." Caleb chuckled, and a creak was heard on the step. He looked up to see his mate Avery coming down. "What is going on here?" Avery asked, half asleep. "We are about to break Cade's arm or shoulder. It doesn't matter because we are going to break one of his bones," Caleb said in excitement. "Oh, okay, well, have fun," Avery said, like he just mentioned going for a run. "Oh, are you the new Luna?" Avery turned her attention to Lily, suddenly much more interested. Perspective, Luna, and you can call me Lily, Lily corrected. I'm Avery. I'm Caleb's mate. Do you need a hand with anything? Avery was more than willing to help the new Luna out if she needed it. How are you with hearing breaking bones? Lily asked and noticed Avery squirm a bit, as Cade whimpered listening to her talk about breaking bones so casually. I don't know. I usually do not fight, so I've never heard them, Avery admitted. It's up to you then. If you want to watch as a learning experience, you can, or if you want to spare yourself, then now is the time to retreat. Lily gave Avery a warm smile as she gave her an easy out. Then I think I will go ahead and head back to the bedroom and put my earbuds in. See you in the morning, Lily. Avery smiled at her brightly before getting out of Dodge. This was not her sort of thing, and she was happy she was excused from it. Lily turned her attention back to Cade as Caleb seemed to be getting himself amped up in excitement. Lily walked in front of Cade and squatted to put her head level with his as he laid on the table. Cade. Lily reached her hand out and touched his arm in front of him. Are you okay with this? Do you trust me? Lily looked into Cade's eyes, searching them for an answer. I'm not keen on getting my bones broke, but I trust you. If this will fix the pain, then I'm up for it. It's only pain, right? Cade gave Lily a sheepish grin. Yeah, it's only pain, so don't scream too loud, Buttercup. Caleb grinned in sadistic excitement as he slapped Cade's backside. Caleb, all I need you to do is to hold him still. He will naturally react from the pain. Do you think you can handle him, or do we need another person? Lily was getting into her professional mode now, and her voice was serious. He might be the beta, but I'm still tough enough to hold him down. Caleb smirked at Lily with a confident attitude, showing that he could handle the task. I have to say this, I think we're getting a pretty badass Luna in our pack. Caleb beamed at her, and she smiled quietly in response. Okay, Cade, brace yourself and try your best to hold still. Lily positioned her hands on his shoulder and felt for the fused bone. Lily focused and brought her wolf strength forward into her arms. She would need her werewolf strength to break the fused bones. Lily concentrated, and in a single motion she pushed in, and the loud cracking sound was heard in the room, followed by Cade's loud roar. Caleb held Cade down brilliantly and kept Cade from overmoving. Lily reset the bone and then walked in front of Cade. She reached up and ran her fingers through his hair gently, trying to soothe him. Okay, Cade, now slowly. Allow yourself to heal. Not too quickly, so I can feel how it's healing. Lily's voice was calm and soothing. Lily continued to check the progression of the healing, and then returned to her position in front of Cade to encourage him during this process. Okay, that should do it, Cade. You can sit up and try your arm out now. Lily took a few steps back and wiped her forehead. Cade hopped off the table and moved his arm around in different motions. He grinned and turned to look at Caleb. It's gone. I cannot remember the last time it has felt like this. Lily, you are amazing. Cade walked over and lifted her off the ground in a hug. The moment he did, a small growl was heard above them from the second-floor landing. Chapter 7. They looked up to see Tyler looking down at them. He had heard the loud yell and came out to investigate. He was very interested as he watched Lily work and how attentive she was. The moment his mate ended up in the arms of a shirtless Cade, he couldn't stop the growl that escaped from his throat. Cade grinned widely as he lowered Lily back to the ground. Look, Tyler, it's all fixed. Tyler made his way down to the first floor. Did I miss the meeting memo? What is everyone doing up? I came out for a drink and got recruited to help hold Cade down. Next time I want to break the bone, though, Caleb said with a chuckle as Cade shot him a look of annoyance. All right, I am off to bed. Good night, everyone. Welcome to the pack, Luna. Lily, she reminded him as he walked back up the stairs to his room. How about you two? Tyler asked curiously, wondering how all this came about. I could not sleep because of my arm hurting, so I came out to stretch it out. Then Lily came out because she couldn't sleep and noticed that my arm was bothering me. Then she insisted on breaking my shoulder. She is twisted. Cade teased her at the last part. No, honestly, Lily, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to be way more effective now. Kate practically bounced back up the stairs. "Good night. It's going to be a good night of sleep for me," Kate called down as he went to his room to finally get a restful night of sleep. "You know, all that could have been taken care of a long time ago if you kept a packed doctor." Lily turned and scolded Tyler for not having one. Kate had suffered in pain for years, needlessly. A lot of this big warrior packs worked without a doctor because they felt like they were unneeded. In reality, having a doctor around kept the warriors in better fighting condition. "I guess we have one now," Tyler said smugly as he looked at Lily. His eyes softened as he looked over her tired features. "You look tired." "I can't sleep. I tried, but I can't seem to fall asleep," Lily said quietly. "You have a big day tomorrow. I will be introducing you to the pack. Come on, I'll walk you back to your room." Tyler took the opportunity to scoot his arm around her back, and he gently corralled her back up to her room. When he got her to her door and opened it, he didn't leave her there. He followed her in as he walked her towards the bed. Lily felt her heart beating faster. They were now alone in her room, and the whole house was asleep. As she climbed into bed, she felt the bed dip down beside her, and she turned with shocked eyes to see Tyler laying down beside her. "What are you doing?" Lily squeaked out from the unexpected invasion. "Trying to sleep," Tyler replied tersely as he closed his eyes. This is my room," Lily's voice whispered out. Her heart was beating out of her chest, and her stomach was flipping at the sight of him so close. "Nothing gets past you," Tyler smirked, and he opened his eyes to look at her. "I thought we would both enjoy this more." Seeing her unamused face, he decided to explain to her. "Look, I promise not to touch you. You can't sleep, and I can't sleep. We are mates, and we both will sleep better if we are close to each other." Tyler rolled to his side and flipped the lamp off at the bedside. Lily sighed and pondered over the situation for a moment. She then made herself comfortable and closed her eyes. She had to admit she felt calmer having him near her, though she felt that this was still a dangerous situation. In either case, she was tired, and she was enjoying breathing in his scent that was so close to her. She filled her nostrils with his smell and felt herself drift into unconsciousness. Lily began to stir, but was unable to move. She felt like she was being held captive. She took a moment and remembered that she was no longer back at her home. She opened her eyes to see what she was in. She was being held captive in Tyler's embrace, and was deep into his chest with her head resting on his arm. Lily looked up to Tyler's face. His eyes were closed, but his breathing did not sound like he was asleep. She tried to move a bit, but Tyler's eyes snapped open and looked down at her. "Good morning," he said groggily. "Oh, good morning," she replied back softly. "You are never allowed to sleep with anyone else. You understand that? You are a huge cuddler while you sleep. You know how hard it was to actually let you sleep while you were draped all over me?" Tyler's eyes pinned her down, and she gave him an apologetic smile. "I'm sorry. I have only ever shared my bed with my stuffed animals. I guess I usually hold them while I sleep." Lily felt her cheeks heat up in embarrassment. She did not mean to practically assault him all night. Tyler let out a low chuckle. "Not that I minded, of course. You can snuggle with me anytime." Tyler's eyes met with hers, and his gray irises began to grow dark as he stared at her. His eyes were focused on her lips, and his breath drew heavy. He licked his lips and began to draw his head down towards hers. Lily's heart began to speed up. This was going to be her first kiss. It was going to happen right now. She was excited and nervous. The butterflies began to flutter in her stomach, and she felt her insides tighten as he got closer. Only a few more inches to go. Like Providence, Lily's phone rang. She jumped up quickly and rolled over to grab her phone. She heard the quieted groan from Tyler, and she smiled. Her cheeks felt heated from what almost happened. It was the first time she had ever had that effect on someone, or them on her, and she was liking it, though she knew she should not. She reached for her phone and saw that it was Aaron calling. She excitedly picked up the phone and answered it. "Aaron!" she squealed. "Lilybug, how are you doing? Are they treating you okay? I swear, if they're not, I will march over there and bring you back. You have no idea how worried I've been, and it's only been one night." Maybe I should just come and bring you home. I can't take this. Aaron practically vomited up all the words as he spoke rapidly without a breath. Aaron, I'm okay. Relax. Lily giggled at her overprotective brother. Tyler sat up in bed, leaned over, and kissed Lily on the forehead, causing her to blush. He motioned that he was going to go and shower, and then headed out of the room to give her privacy to talk to her brother. I haven't met a lot of people yet, but so far everyone has been nice. Of course, that's just for now. I haven't told them my secret yet. Once I do, I'll be getting the boot for sure, Lily said dryly as she played with a strand of her hair. If he was willing to start a war over you, I doubt that he would want you out of the pack. Not all packs are like ours, Lil. You know, I was also thinking, you should probably quit. Nope, I know what you were about to say. Not yet, Aaron. Not until after I tell them, at least. Lily interrupted her brother, knowing exactly what he was about to mention. Aaron sighed loudly over the phone. I just want you safe, and I don't want anything inhibiting that. So, do it soon, promise? I promise. Lily was happy she had someone in her life who cared about her that much. Call me any time, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Lils. Bye, Aaron. Lily hung up the phone and stared at it quietly with a small smile on her face. She could hear how worried Aaron was in his voice, and it warmed her heart. She admitted that she was afraid that once she was out of sight that he would forget about her, that maybe he only felt like he had to look after her while she was there. She was happy to know that his feelings were real, and that he really did care about her. It was a stupid fear of hers, and one that she did not really believe, but sometimes the mind plays tricks with the truth. Lily hopped out of bed feeling energized and happy. She had slept well the second half of the night, almost had her first kiss, and had a good phone call from her brother. The day was starting off pretty good. She slipped on a pair of shirts and a black tank top before slipping on her tennis shoes. After fixing up her hair and makeup, she softly shrugged as she looked at herself in the mirror. She then proceeded out of her room and could hear many people talking below her. She glanced over the edge to see a house full of people below her. She suddenly felt her confidence diminish a bit as she looked over the strangers. She recognized Cade, Caleb, and Avery, but there were several new faces that she had not yet seen. She bit her bottom lip and took a step back away from the edge. She was not used to crowds since they have avoided her. She heard Tyler's light chuckle as he approached her from behind. You getting ready to bolt on me? He said as he swooped his arm around her waist. To Tyler's surprise, she turned into him and tucked her head into his side. Chapter 8. Lily had never felt so thankful to have him by her side. He was what was familiar to her, and she felt at ease near him. Crowds were a new thing to her, and she suddenly had a weak moment. At that moment of fear, Tyler had approached and put his arm around her. Her body naturally responded by trying to tuck herself further into safety, into him. Tyler embraced her with both arms and held her protectively against his chest. You okay? Lily nodded her head and looked up to him with a crooked smile. Just a small moment of panic. I'm not really used to crowds. They've avoided me my whole life. Tyler felt angry about how her pack used to treat her, but he didn't let her see that. Instead, he lowered his head down to hers and kissed her forehead tenderly. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're just excited to meet you. They're Luna. These are only a few of the pack members. We still have to greet the whole pack in a bit. You up for it? Lily nodded. It was just a silly moment. I'm fine now. She looked up at Tyler and smiled bravely. She admitted it was dumb to be nervous because of a crowd. She knew it was just because she was conditioned her whole life to avoid them. Still, though, she held on to Tyler's side. She felt that she would need him to keep up her confidence. Tyler kept his arm around her and was internally smiling as she kept hers on him. For a new mate, she had been fairly distant with him. It was not usually like that. The normal is, once you find your mate, you complete the mating bond that night, if not instantly, and mark your mate for all to see. The drive and attraction are extremely powerful. Tyler could sense that Lily needed him to go slow with her, so he was doing his best to control himself. He wanted to give her the time she needed until she felt ready. He wanted to mark her so that all would know she was his, and it was getting harder to wait. He smiled as he felt her grip tighten on him as they descended the stairs. He glanced down at her. No one would ever notice that she was nervous. She hid it so well. She looked confident as she strode down the stairs with him. His heart swelled with pride and new budding feelings for her. He looked ahead at some of his pack members and beamed at them proudly. "I would like to introduce to you your Luna, Lily," Tyler said proudly as he hugged Lily's side into his. Lily nodded to the pack members who bowed their head respectfully towards her. She could feel that they were all excited to speak with her, but Tyler graciously kept her locked into his side. He walked around with her as he introduced her to the various pack members in the room. "I see you are very protective over her, seeing how you are keeping her tucked into your side so securely, even around your own pack," one of the pack members teased. Tyler looked down at Lily and then back up at the man. "If she was yours, wouldn't you be protective too?" Tyler asked with a happy grin. "If she were mine, I would definitely keep her locked away safely. You are stunning, my dear." "Thanks." Lily felt a light blush seize her cheeks. She was not used to being complimented, let alone being openly complimented. Tyler chuckled as he looked down at his adorable mate. She was too cute. He was very proud to have her as his mate. He only wished that she would be able to see that and trust him with whatever it is she was hiding. "There's my favorite flower," Cade said as he walked over to them. "My arm still feels great. From this day forward, you are my favorite person in the world. At least until I find my mate," Cade said with a wink. "For now on, if you can help it, don't heal that quickly in the future. It is easier to set the bones first." Lily was happy she was able to help him. None of the other men in her pack would let her touch them. She was only allowed to be in charge of immunization with the children. She subconsciously leaned into Tyler. She felt happy and content. This is what it felt like to be accepted. She had missed out on so much, and she tried to convince herself that she hadn't. Now she knew exactly what she was missing. She hoped she wouldn't lose it. Tyler smiled as he felt her body relax into his side. She was becoming more comfortable with him and with the people around her. "The pack is gathered outside of the pack house. Are you ready to meet everyone?" Tyler quietly spoke to Lily and watched as she smiled up at him and nodded. He shot her a wide smile and then kissed her temple tenderly. "Let's go then. All right, everyone outside. I'm going to formally introduce your Luna." He then turned to Lily and looked down at her. "I won't leave your side, so you have nothing to be nervous about. Let's go meet your new pack." Lily let Tyler lead her to the large double doors. She could hear the chattering of muffled voices from behind the door. It sounded like there was a large number of people behind the door. She was no longer nervous, though. She had been taking hits of her Tyler drug for the last hour, and she felt confident by his side. To her, Tyler was the equivalent to humans drinking alcohol and finding their confidence. Except she was not incoherent. She just had the self-confidence boost. 24 hours ago, she never wanted a mate, and now she was going down the dangerous path of feeling that she needed him. She knew she wanted him already. She could not deny that. But she was starting to feel a dependency towards him. She knew this was a normal feeling to have with your mate, and she wanted to fully embrace it. The panging she felt in her heart was telling her that it was already too late. Tyler had invaded her mind and heart, and now she had to hope he did not break it. Tyler proudly opened the doors and escorted Lily out, tucked into his side. The chattering crowd grew silent as Tyler led them forward to the waiting crowd. Most of the pack had shown up for the announcement, and there were hundreds of people standing around and staring at his beautiful mate. "I want to introduce you all to your Luna. I expect that all of you will give her the respect she deserves. From this day forth, you will offer her your loyalties and allegiance. Soon I will make her an official member of the pack, but until then, you are to consider her your Luna nonetheless." Tyler heard his pack applaud and whistle in response. They all seemed mostly pleased with the quiet beauty by his side. Once he completed the mating ritual and marked her, she would officially become their Luna, and also be able to mind link with the pack members. He had never felt so happy before in his life. He happily kept his arm around her, not wanting to break the intimate contact that they had had the last couple hours. He could feel the shift in their relationship changing. She was no longer trying to escape his touch, but was leaning into it. Their connection was growing, and the bond was forming the longer they stayed together. Lily's eyes sparkled cheerfully, and she had a radiating aura around her. The pack members were captivated by her, and they were swooning over their new Luna. Well, most of them. There were a few members who were not happy with Lily, and those were members who were loyal to Jessica. Jessica stood at a distance and sneered over at Lily, who was attached to Tyler's side. She was bitter and was not willing to give up on what was supposed to be hers. She was supposed to be their Luna, and she was not about to accept Lily as it. Chapter 9. Lily leaned down and accepted a single rose from a little girl who came up to give it to the new pretty Luna. Lily turned to look up at Tyler, but he seemed to be mind-linking with someone. You could tell by the concentration and slight haze over his eyes. Lily turned back and thanked the little girl, who skipped off happily. Cade walked up next to Lily's side, and she had the sense he was there to take care of her. When she looked over to Tyler, she could tell that she had guessed right. He was looking down at her with apologetic eyes. "Sorry, Lily. I need to take care of a couple things. I should not be too long. Cade will stay with you." Tyler leaned in and kissed the top of Lily's head before he walked off. The moment they parted, Lily missed his familiar heat next to her body. She had been held next to his side all morning, and it suddenly felt foreign without him being near her. Her father was the alpha, and she knew that there were always things that needed to be taken care of that required their alpha's presence. With a bit of longing, she turned back to the crowd in front of her, putting on her best face. The little boy that she had tended to when she first crossed into their border came up to her, grinning ear to ear. "You are a very nice person. I am glad you are our new Luna." The little boy giggled and took off running away. Some time had gone by, and Lily was freely wandering between the new pack and greeting them all. Cade stayed closely by her side. A young man about her age came up to her. Lily noticed that he seemed to have quite the following of young ladies oogling after him. "Man, our alpha has all the luck. You are simply mouth-watering." The young man winked at her, and Cade growled at him reproachfully, stepping up to Lily's side. The man was very attractive. Not Tyler attractive, though, but you could tell the man knew women couldn't resist him. "Cedric, have some respect for your new Luna," Cade warned him. His tone did not sound overly aggressive, but his eyes shot Cedric a warning that could not be ignored. "I did not say anything she didn't already know. I was just commenting on how lucky Tyler is to find such a beautiful Luna." Lily gave him a small smile in acknowledgement and took a small step away from him. He made her feel uncomfortable. He looked at her like she was dessert, but that wasn't what was making her feel uneasy. Something felt different about him. While she stood in his presence, she felt the back of her mind stir. Cade gave Cedric another reproachful look, then rested his arm around Lily and led her away from Cedric. "He is really quite harmless. He's just what you call a man-whore," Cade said bluntly as he led Lily away. "Let's get you something to drink." Lily let Cade lead her back towards the house when something caught the corner of her eye. She stopped and looked, causing Cade to look in the direction she was looking at. In the distance, near another building, was Tyler and Jessica. Jessica had her arms wrapped around Tyler, and in that moment tipped up on her toes and kissed Tyler. Lily felt her stomach turn immediately, and a clenching pain formed in her chest. She was giving Tyler her heart and trusting him. She knew that they were engaged just yesterday, and it was probably difficult for Jessica to adjust. But Tyler did not correct her when she held him or kissed him. Something he should have done since he had a mate now. Lily felt jaded and her color faded from her face. Kira, on the other hand, was seeking bloodshed. She was pacing back and forth in Lily's mind, demanding she takes the head of the she-devil that touched their mate. Though Lily wanted to throat-punch Jessica, she wanted to get away from the situation. She looked up at Cade, whose face was rigid, and his jaw was set. Cade was extremely angry. How could Tyler allow Jessica to get that close to him when he just found Lily? Lily was perfect, and Tyler was screwing it up. He looked down at Lily, his face conflicted. He was angry and feeling apologetic towards her. "Can we go for a walk instead?" Lily asked quietly. She did not look back towards Tyler and Jessica again. Instead, she looked off in the far distance. She had not had a chance to explore, and she always loved the woods. She used to walk with her mother every day, and it was something she tried to continue. "Sure, let me grab a bag and a couple bottles of water." Kate left and returned within a minute. "Let's go." "What's in the bag?" Lily asked as she saw the small backpack he swung over his shoulder. "Routine things. I always like to bring shirts and shorts. You never know when you need to shift, and you don't want to end up in a situation with no clothes. I'd never be able to keep the girls off me." Kate grinned and Lily laughed in amusement. "Especially now that you have a good shoulder." Lily gave Kate a wry smile, which he returned with a wide grin. "You know, Rosebud," Kate started. "Rosebud?" Lily arched her eye and looked up at Kate. "Yeah, your name is Lily, so I decided that I'm going to call you different types of flowers as your name. Anyway, I would not overthink what you just saw. I know that he wants you." He did not even hesitate to break up with Jessica and call off the wedding. "The moment we came back after meeting you, he called it off. He's just feeling guilty towards her is all." She did not exactly take the news well. She was hysterical. Kate smiled as he thought of Jessica's reaction. It was one of his top moments of his life. He loved her getting the boot because he did not like her at all. He only tolerated her because of Tyler. "She seems like a piece of work. I only met her once, but I peg her for lying, manipulative, and sneaky. Not to mention a downright bitch." Lily did not often speak ill of people, especially someone she barely knew, but she was messing around with her territory. Tyler was her mate, and the bond made her possessive over him. It was enough that made Kira want to kill Jessica. Nailed it. She's whiny, needy, demanding, and a sketchy person. She always hid her true colors from Tyler, and he was so blinded by needing a mate that he ignored the red flags. "Thank goodness we found you. I will always have your back, especially since you repaired mine." Cade chuckled as he made his lame joke. "So what about you, Cade? No girlfriend or mate?" Lily was curious about him. He was really the only friend she had there. She met Caleb and Avery last night, and was certain they would become friends after spending time together. But as of now, it was just Cade that she felt that relationship with. She could tell that Kira liked him too, which was a bonus. "No, not yet. But she's out there. I'm 19, so I still have time." Tyler was getting worried, though, since he's 22. I tried to tell him that it did not make a difference. Just because a lot find their mates young doesn't mean you age out of your mate. Cade kept the low, slow walking pace on the well-beaten trail. "I do have a girl who is my date girl. We have fun and go out on dates. We both agree it is just for fun until we find our mates, though. It's a good deal for me. She's going to be my date for the banquet coming up tomorrow." "Banquet? One of those multi-pack ones?" "I never went to one of those before." Lily felt a bit sad at the things she missed out on in life. There are going to be 3 to 4 other packs there. It's something that is held periodically to keep up relations. It also helps wolves find their mates. You know, had you gone to one of those things in the past, then Tyler would have found you sooner. Cade gave her a smirk. "You mean he never would have ended up with Jessica, so she is technically my fault." Lily chuckled as she read the undertone of his meaning loud and clear. "Will my pack be at the banquet?" "No, not this one this time. They try to keep it down to just a handful of packs at a time. They normally have good food and, of course, dancing. You'll see what it's like tomorrow," Cade mentioned casually. "Me? I don't plan on going." Lily waved her hand in front of her in a big X shape. Luna, you can't not go. Sorry. You are the Luna of our pack, so you have to go." Cade grinned at her as she groaned in annoyance. "This up here is the edge to this side of our territory." Cade pointed in the near distance where the tree line broke. The sun was shining brightly through the trees that were hiding the open land behind it. "Whose territory is that?" Lily asked. "It's a mixture. Rogues often wander there. It has always been known as a magic land, though." It's where they say the fairies and witches dwell, Cade said with an air of mysterious play. You say dwell like they are Stone Age and do not know what electricity and cars are, Lily giggled. Snap. Lily and Cade froze as they both heard the sound of twigs and leaves crunching. They turned to the direction where the sound came from. Their stomachs dropped at what they saw.
I love you.
Chapter 10. Lily and Cade froze. Coming into the diamond-packed territory were 5 unknown wolves. Probably rogues who packed up together. They were staring at Cade and Lily, snarling as they closed in. Cade sent a quick mind link to the pack about the intruders, telling them that he had Lily with them and to hurry. Lily, get out of here. Cade barked and then jumped in front of her, transforming into his magnificent red-colored wolf. His wolf was bigger than each of the individual rogues, but there were 5 of them. He was strong as a beta, but the odds were not in his favor. He strategically placed himself between the rogues and Lily. His ears laid back flat as he growled at them angrily. In sync, they leaped on him, the 5 wolves using their numbers to take down the large beta in front of them. Lily froze momentarily, unable to react. She could not run and leave Cade there. She had to help him. We have to help him, Kira, Lily ordered. Lily shifted into Kira and plunged into the fray. Kira grabbed one of the wolves by the back of the neck and she bit down hard. The other wolf shrieked as its blood pooled to the ground. Kira felt a sharp, intense pain in her shoulder as another wolf attacked her. The pain angered her and she turned and grabbed the other wolf. She shook the wolf and launched its body into a tree. A loud crunching noise was heard, and the wolf lay there lifeless. The other 4 wolves backed up and seemed to eye up Kira cautiously. Kira's large size, tenacity, aggression, and natural commanding aura had the rogues double-thinking their actions. She looked like an alpha and acted like one, but she was not the alpha. Kira stood protectively in front of Cade and bared her teeth at the rogues. She was not backing down. In fact, she took an aggressive step towards them. The rogues had already lost 1 member, and they began to further retreat. When the sound of incoming running was being heard, the 4 wolves quickly turned tail and retreated from the area. Kira turned and looked at Cade's wolf. She walked up to him and looked over his wounds carefully. He was chewed up some, but nothing serious. He would heal soon enough. She turned and looked over at the dead wolf a few feet away. It was her first time killing another wolf, but she did not feel overly remorseful. She was dripping with blood from her jaw and oozing red liquid from her shoulder. Lily was thinking how Kira must really look a sight right now. The sounds of running stopped near them, and she looked up at the wolves that had assembled nearby. She was a stranger to them since she was not an official member of the pack. Cade's wolf stood in front of her protectively. His wolf was a bit smaller than Kira's. He must have mind-linked the others and told them who she was, because they quit looking at her threateningly. Kira watched as a huge silver wolf made its way to the front. She knew immediately it was Tyler's wolf. His wolf was massive, and the other wolves showed him reverence as he walked past them. He walked with a confidence and held his head high. There was no arguing it. This was an alpha wolf. The large silver wolf eyed the dead wolf curiously. His eyes scanned over Cade's wolf and then rested on Kira. His ears perked up, and he took a few steps forward, seeing his mate.
I love you.
Kira's ears went back, and she let out a low growl, warning him to keep his distance. This, of course, set off a domino effect of rippling growls throughout the wolves there at the aggression towards their alpha. Tyler must have mind-linked the others because the wolves quieted down instantly and left the area. Cade was the only other wolf remaining, and he had kept his position in front of Kira until the silver wolf eyed him down. Whatever he said made Cade shrink down and stand aside slowly, leaving Kira and Tyler's wolf with no one in between them. He took another step towards Kira, and she growled at him again lowly, not showing her teeth this time. Kara watched as he laid down and began to crawl his way up to her. Lily giggled, forgetting she was still mad at Tyler. You have to give him credit, Kara. Kara sneezed and shook her head and let out a small yelp from the pain in her shoulder. She forgot that wound was there. Tyler's wolf hopped up immediately and rushed up to Kara's side when he heard her whimper. He began to look her over intently, and he seemed confused at her wound not healing. He lifted his head up and he looked at Kara. She had let him close the gap and seemed to be curious of her mate. He was bigger than her, which she was happy over. His tail wagged as he nuzzled his head into her neck. The two seemed to accept each other as mates. Lily was happy for Kara. Kara had not a lot of interaction with other wolves, and it was something she was craving. She was really hoping that they could successfully be part of a pack, for both of their sakes. Kara, we need to get this bandaged up, since it takes us longer to heal. Lily did not want to interrupt Kara's time with her mate, but knew they needed to tend to the wound. Kara looked at her mate once more before she walked over to the backpack that Kate had brought. She nosed through it until she found a large t-shirt. She did not bother going to hide behind a tree. She went ahead and shifted back into herself and eased the shirt over her head. Lily assessed the wound on her arm. She was happy that was the only wound she ended up with. It wasn't a pretty wound, but it wasn't life-threatening. She would be able to wrap it up for now. She reached back in the bag and tossed a pair of shorts over to Cade and Tyler, then proceeded to rip the bottom off of her shirt to use as a bandage. Cade came up to her and knelt by her side to look at the wound. He leaned his head to her ear and said softly, "You know it would heal better if you took that off." Lily jumped and turned to look at him in shock. He knew. He knew why she wasn't healing. She lowered her eyebrows down at him. Could you tie this off for me? It will heal soon enough." She felt like the moment she took her necklace off it would really be over. She would never be able to return to her old pack once the necklace was removed. "What is going on? Why aren't you healing?" Tyler looked down at Lily, looking perplexed and worried. Her wound had not begun to heal at all. He didn't know. Cade did not tell him. Lily looked up at Cade and she felt an appreciation for him. Tyler was his alpha, but he did not tell him about her necklace. He was letting her tell him. "There's nothing wrong. My magic is being suppressed. I will explain it more another time." Lily answered truthfully, but did not give the whole truth. "Wait, what?" Tyler was furious. His mate fought with her powers suppressed? Lily chose to ignore him and instead stood up and turned to the wolf she had killed. Do they stay in that form, or will they return to their human form? She wasn't sure how it worked in battle. "They will eventually change back. I told you to run, Lily," Cade said, looking at her bandaged wound on her arm. "I couldn't leave you there with all those wolves. You'd have been dead before help arrived." Lily would not be able to live with herself if she had left him alone. Besides, Kara was more than ready to take her frustration out on someone. It's unfortunate how that wolf there got the brunt of it. "Your wolf is magnificent. Those rogues were ready to run as soon as your wolf emerged. She really is something special. Even though you should have run, thanks for staying and helping me." Cade knew that she had saved him. He would have been beaten pretty badly, if not killed, by the time reinforcements arrived. "I was not sure how much help I would be. I've never fought before. I've never killed another wolf or even injured one. I guess there is something to be said about animal instincts." Lily glanced back at the dead rogue one more time. Animal instincts, or being angry about a slut wolf who keeps touching her mate. All I had to do was envision her face there. Kara beamed happily. Lily giggled as she listened to Kara. Cade and Tyler looked at her curiously. "Sorry, private conversation with Kara." "It seems that your wolf has accepted mine," Tyler said with a smile. He admitted her wolf was large and had a dangerous aura, but she was perfect to him. "You really should not be all the way out here. You were supposed to be safe near the pack house." Tyler walked up to Lily and placed his hand gently on her shoulder. Lily stepped out in front of him and walked to the other side of Cade. Tyler frowned at her in confusion. Everything had been going so well, and now she was acting distant again. Lily needed to walk away from him. He was not going to shoot this crazy drug into her already. Not when she was still angry with him. Maybe if you were not gone so long on pack business, then I would never have left. Lily used air quotations on pack business. What is that supposed to mean? Tyler felt agitated with her tone and replied with an edgy one of his own. Lily sighed angrily. Then a jingle was heard. She heard the sound of something. She turned her head in the direction of the field. She could hear a muffled sound. Something was calling to her. It felt vaguely familiar. Something shimmered in the distance, or so she thought. She looked again, but did not see anything. She could feel it, though, barely. Whatever it was, her necklace was suppressing it. The sounds began to fade, but she could still feel the presence. Who was calling to her? Why did she feel like she needed to go? She felt like she was forgetting something important. Lily? She felt Tyler's arm on her, and she blinked and stared up at him and Cade. Didn't they hear it? Couldn't they sense it? A moment ago, did you feel or hear anything? Lily searched their eyes, and the two looked up at one another and shook their heads no. Why was she the only one who could hear it? She felt it too, but what was she feeling? It's time for you to remove that necklace. It has been a leash to us for too long. Kira spoke calmly in Lily's mind. Do you know what that was, Kira? You aren't going to tell me? Lily felt agitated. Her wolf, was keeping something from her. The necklace, Lily. Just take it off, Kira said quietly. No! Lily shouted out loud, causing Tyler and Cade to jump at the unexpected outburst. Chapter 11. Lily, Cade patted her head as he smiled down at her. Everything is okay, little tulip. Lily relaxed and smiled at her goofy friend. She considered him a friend, and he has proven that she could trust him. Kira is keeping secrets from me. It's frustrating. I'm sure she will tell you when she's ready, Cade reassured her. Your wolf would not purposely do anything to hurt you, since you are their vessel. She wants me to... Lily grabbed her necklace and then frowned. Her tie to her pack. By taking the necklace off, it would sever it. Not that she had much of a relationship with them anyways. How would it affect things with Erin and her father? And Maddie? Tyler watched the two and felt jealous over the closeness they seemed to have developed. When did you two become so close? Probably during the time when you were making out with your girlfriend. Lily glared at him. She felt her chest tighten as she remembered how Jessica's arms were snaked around Tyler, and the way she tiptoed up and kissed his lips. She could feel the burp.
That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed me decorating this room. Next video I will finish up chapter 11 and I'll go to chapter 20. Bye bye. Enjoyed it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays.